Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Vantage Point Podcast, the quote breakdown, where I break down the quotes and the posts that I put up on social media. So, welcome to my show. If you haven't done so, fam, it means so much to me if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on the show, comment below, and also give a thumbs up if you find this valuable. With that being said, let's jump into today's episode. The quote we are breaking down today, fam, is life will become what you allow it to be. And the caption on this quote is what you allow will continue and what you settle for, you deserve. Now, if you've ever watched any of my videos, listened to any of my podcasts, this is something that comes up on the regular. I'm always talking about how life will become what you allow it to be. Life will become what you settle for, what you prioritize, and what you give attention to. But here's what's interesting about all this, right? And even though I say this so many times, people can regurgitate the words I'm saying, but people don't actually dive into it within themselves. Very few people make changes on this because once you change this, your entire world changes. And we're talking about your perception, right? Life will become what you allow it to be, which means what you settle for and how you see things, the stories in your mind, the conversations you have with yourself. I can say this, I can speak this, and you can view this information from your level of awareness on what you believe to be true, what you want to be true, how you see things. So there's people who are watching my stuff who have told me many times, man, your stuff is pretty intense, or hey, your stuff is too much. It's very, very like strong, and it's very, it's overwhelming, right? You're too strong, you're too strong. And it's interesting. What's interesting about that is that's more revealing for you because from my perception, my perspective, my intention is all in energy into what I'm doing. Look directly into the camera, speak the facts and nothing else, right? Look directly into the camera and solve this problem or share my experiences or speak on a certain process, right? And then there's the receiver. There's the person, the viewer, the person sitting on the other side of this camera watching this video right now with their perception on what's good, bad, right, or wrong, right? So now you're seeing the world from this perspective. Now, not that it's good or bad, right or wrong, it's just the consequences. What is the consequence of you seeing the world the way you do because you are the example, right? Now, I say this all the time, and I keep repeating the fact that I say this all the time because this is something that continues to come up, come up, come up. And a lot of people can say, oh, you say a lot of the same things because it's true. It's the truth, right? What you allow will continue, and what you settle for, you deserve. Meaning, look at all areas of your life. Look at where you are and the position you put yourself in. It does not have to be this way. There's something that you don't know. There's something that you are not solving, a problem you're not solving in your life. There's moves you're not making. Now, instead of feeling bad about yourself, instead of looking to avoid it, instead of beating yourself up because of the decisions you've made up to this point, your past moves, and you beat yourself up and you created this image about yourself, instead of doing that, why not take the moment right now to create a plan, create structure, learn what it is that you need to learn, and take action? You need to lead, fam. You need to step your game up. You need to look at your life and say, man, nothing's going to change until I take control and responsibility over my own life, my own moves, my own thoughts. Yes, the thing that's ever happened to you, right? The worst thing that's ever happened to you. Yes, it happened and you suffered through memory and imagination. But you can look at it as the worst thing to ever happen, or you can look at it as the best thing to ever happen. And now, in this very moment's a new moment, and new moves or new past, a new past is being created every moment of your life. Think about that. A new past is being created every moment of your life. Meaning, You watching this video now, it's no longer in the beginning of this video. That's the past. You saw that part already. Right now, you're up to this point. Now, eventually, this right now, what I'm saying is passing you by. You've seen it already. You're hearing the words. I've said it already, right? Then you receive it. Then you look at this present moment and say, okay, what am I going to do right now? And the more time passes by, right, the more this present moment becomes the past. And if you look at the future, doesn't exist just yet. So we're influencing the future, the timeline, right? It's a time. If you expect or if you think you're going to live another day, then you know that tomorrow is coming, right? So what are you doing from now till tomorrow, right? But tomorrow doesn't actually exist. Some of you create conclusions that tomorrow exists. So based on where you are in the present moment, you always look at tomorrow in a way that you're like, okay, well, because this happened in the past, because this is where I'm at now in this present moment. Now you say tomorrow I'm going to do this, or this is what's going to happen tomorrow, and in December and in January, in 2 years from now. It's like none of it exists. You're in full control. This is why it says life will become what you allow it to be. What is it that you want to do? Which direction do you want to go? You may not know exactly, right? You may not know. You may be in a place of where you lack clarity. You still have a bit of fears that's in your way, that's clouding your vision. But the most important question is, who do you want to be? What do you want to become, right? As a person, the foundation, your quality of living, the quality of life, your attitude, your character, the things that you do have full control of. What does that look like? And for many people, they're so consumed with what they don't have control of. Again, you can't control me. You can't control those around you. You can influence it, but you can't control it. So when I say that the world is in your head and you see the world based on who you are, that also includes whether or not that you look at what is and then you adjust to what is, or you look at what is and then you look to change it based on what you wish it was. Meaning, this is what is, and you want to change those around you to be a certain way instead of looking at yourself, changing your perspective and taking full responsibility. See, I look at the world like this, fam. Everything's my fault. Every move I make is my fault. Everything that happens in my life is my fault. Everything, everything. I made this move. I got this result. This person responded to me like that's my fault. Whether I didn't communicate something in a certain way, even if I did, and one receives it the way they're supposed to receive it, it's still my fault based on how I reacted and responded to it. I need to make an adjustment. I take full responsibility over everything that happens in my life because I know one thing that I have the ability and control over whether or not I adapt and adjust, right? I have the ability to adapt and adjust. I have full control over how I respond to whatever comes my way. So, because of that, I now know that this is up to me and it always will be. And family, it is up to you and it always will be. And I need you to see it this way because the moment you see it this way, you will see that life will become what you allow it to be. Life will become what you allow it to be. See, it will be what you settle for, and what you settle for, you deserve. A lot of you have settled for this position you are in. You have to make the adjustment if you want any type of change to happen in your life. But for some of you, you're so interested in hoping, wishing, believing. You're so interested in waiting. You're so interested in looking for signs because you're so unsure about yourself. There's no confidence within yourself. There's a lot of insecurities, a lot of fears that you haven't addressed. And you have to identify those fears in order for you to face that battle and move forward to break through the level that you're at right now. So if you're at a certain level, there's a final boss, fam. There's a final boss at your level right now that you refuse to address or train for, right? There's a boss, there's something there, meaning there's a psychological fear, there's an insecurity, there's a worry, there's a move, there's some information you're lacking that You're unwilling to learn. You don't want to put in the work to learn. So because of that, you're doing all these moves where you're sitting around avoiding and waiting. Most people are avoiding and waiting. They're waiting for a sign. They're waiting for life to happen to them. They're waiting, right? But they're also wishing, hoping, okay, I hope. And I'm avoiding the responsibility. I'm avoiding the moves that I need to make. Family, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. These are the people who are the most afraid. These are the people who sit around and complain. And these are the people who sit around living and accepting misery. Why? Because life will become what you allow it to be. You're allowing this to happen because of the moves you're making. You're allowing this to happen because of a perspective you're unwilling to change. You're not willing to see it for yourself. You're not willing to see the moves you're making. You're not willing to study yourself and understand yourself. There's something that's going on in your life right now. There is a problem that you're unaware of, maybe, or you secretly know what it is. But there's something that you're leaving, you're neglecting. There is something that you're neglecting about yourself, about your life. There's a perspective that you're unwilling to question, right? You are the example, you are living the result of it. So why not look at your life in a serious way and analyze yourself and study yourself? Again, all of these things I'm saying is nothing new. It's nothing new. It's more so a reminder to you. Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, why? Why do we choose to hold on to certain things? For what? Right? As life continues to deteriorate, your body deteriorates, your mind deteriorates, life seems like it's crumbling all around you, and there's certain things you don't want to do, certain things you do want to do, there's certain things you fight for. And it's like, okay, there's no right or wrong way, but you're living the results of that. Something has to change. And it's all up to you. And it always will be, fam. Life will become what you allow it to be. So take control. I love you. I appreciate you, fam. If you found this episode valuable,